Our world runs on money. But what is it really? For most of history, money was something physical. It had value because it was rare and hard to create. Eventually, we traded paper that represented a claim on something valuable, like gold. But then, a major shift happened. That link was broken. Today, our money's value is based on trust in the authorities that issue it. This is called fiat money. This system gives central authorities immense power, like the ability to create new money out of thin air. When more money is created, the value of each individual dollar, peso, or euro tends to decrease. This is inflation. It's a silent thief that eats away at your savings. Furthermore, this centralized system requires intermediaries. Banks and payment processors sit in the middle of our transactions. They process payments but also take fees and have the power to censor or reverse transactions. This means billions of people can be excluded from the financial system or have their assets frozen. This system works, but it has deep-rooted issues of trust, inflation, and control. What if we could build something different? In 2008, in the midst of a global financial crisis, trust in the traditional system was at a historic low. It was then that a paper appeared online, posted by a mysterious person or group named Satoshi Nakamoto. To this day, no one knows who Satoshi really was. But their identity doesn't matter as much as their idea. The paper proposed a radical idea, a new form of money that was truly digital and existed without any central authority, a peer-to-peer system, like handing cash to a friend, but over the internet. But this creates a huge problem for digital money. How do you stop someone from just copying it and spending it twice? Usually, you solve this with a central server, like a bank, that keeps a master list of all transactions. But Satoshi wanted to get rid of the central server. That was the whole point. Satoshi's solution was both elegant and revolutionary, a public ledger shared by everyone in the network. The technology that makes this possible is called a blockchain. Think of it like a digital record book. Each block is like a page containing a list of recent transactions. Once a page is full, it's added to the end of the book and changed to the previous page using clever cryptography. This makes the history of transactions virtually impossible to change. Changing one block would mean changing every single block that came after it. And who holds this ledger? Everyone. Thousands of computers around the world, called nodes, keep a copy of the entire blockchain. This decentralization means there is no single point of failure. To take down Bitcoin, you'd have to take down thousands of computers all at once. So, how do you use it? Your identity on the network is controlled by a pair of cryptographic keys, a public key and a private key. Your public key is like your bank account number. You can share it with anyone, and they can use it to send you Bitcoin. Your private key is like your password. It proves you are the owner of the funds. You must never, ever share it. If someone gets your private key, they get your Bitcoin. There is no central authority to call for help. This is the core principle of Bitcoin. You are in complete control of your money. It's a great freedom, but also a great responsibility. These keys are managed in a digital wallet, which can be an app on your phone or a dedicated hardware device. Your wallet will give you a secret recovery phrase. This phrase is the master key to all your funds and must be protected above all else. So we have a public ledger that's almost impossible to tamper with, and a way for users to securely hold and transfer value without an intermediary. But one question remains. It's a complex topic, but understanding it is key to navigating our evolving digital world. If you're enjoying this deep dive, consider subscribing to Capybara for more explorations. How are new blocks added to the chain, and how are new Bitcoins created? This happens through a process called mining. Miners are specialized computers competing to be the first to solve a very difficult mathematical puzzle. The winner of this competition gets to bundle up the latest transactions into a new block and add it to the chain. For their effort, they are rewarded with a fixed amount of newly created Bitcoin, plus the fees from the transactions they included. This process, called proof of work, is genius because it does two things at once. It secures the network, and it issues new currency in a predictable way. But this competition requires an enormous amount of computational power, which in turn consumes a lot of electricity. Bitcoin's energy consumption is a major point of criticism and debate. The network uses more energy than some countries. However, proponents argue that much of this energy is from renewable sources or would otherwise be wasted, and that securing a global monetary system is a worthwhile use of energy. This debate is complex and ongoing, but the energy use is directly tied to the network's security. Unlike government money, which can be printed endlessly, Bitcoin has a hard cap. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin, and the rate at which new coins are created is cut in half roughly every 4 years. This event is called the halving. It started at 50 Bitcoin per block. In 2012, it was cut to 25. In 2016, to 12.5, and so on. This programmed scarcity makes Bitcoin a deflationary asset, the opposite of the inflationary money we use today. This monetary policy is transparent and fixed in the code. No one can change it. So Bitcoin is decentralized, secure, and has a fixed supply. But it has its own set of major challenges. For one, it is famously volatile. Its price can change dramatically in a very short time. making it difficult to use for everyday purchases. Another issue is scalability. The Bitcoin network can only process a small number of transactions per second, far less than modern payment systems. This can lead to long wait times and high transaction fees, especially when the network is busy. Solutions are being developed to address this, like the Lightning Network, which operates on a layer above the main blockchain to enable faster, cheaper payments. So, if it's volatile and slow, what is it good for? Many people see Bitcoin not as a daily currency, but as digital gold. Like gold, it's scarce and durable, but unlike gold, it's incredibly easy to transport and divide. You can send $1 million worth of Bitcoin to the other side of the world in minutes, for a fraction of the cost of sending gold. This makes it a powerful tool for people living under unstable governments or facing hyperinflation. It offers a way to preserve wealth that is censorship-resistant and has no borders. It's important to separate Bitcoin from the wider crypto industry. Bitcoin is a specific, singular invention with a clear purpose. The thousands of other cryptocurrencies that came after it often have different goals, technologies, and trade-offs. So, where does this leave us? Bitcoin presents a fundamentally different choice for how we manage value. The traditional system offers convenience and protection, but at the cost of central control and inflation. Bitcoin offers absolute ownership and freedom, but with the trade-offs of volatility, complexity, and personal responsibility. Bitcoin is more than just a technology, it's an ongoing social and economic experiment. It's an attempt to build a new foundation for finance, based on code instead of human trust. Whether it succeeds or fails, it has already changed the conversation about the nature of money forever. It forces us to ask, what do we want our money to be? Who should control it? And what trade-offs are we willing to make? The story of Bitcoin is still being written. Thank you for exploring it with us. If you want to understand more about the fascinating systems that shape our world, be sure to subscribe to Capybara and join our community of curious minds. Thanks for watching. The energy debate is inseparable from the security debate. The proof of work is what makes the ledger so incredibly difficult and expensive to attack. To alter the blockchain, an attacker would need to control more than half of the entire network's computing power, a 51% attack. The cost to acquire and power that much hardware would be billions of dollars, making it economically irrational for most. The system is designed so it's more profitable to play by the rules and earn mining rewards than to try and cheat. This represents a new kind of trust. Not trust in a government or bank, but trust in mathematics and open source code that anyone can inspect. Once a transaction is confirmed and buried under a few blocks, it is effectively permanent. There are no chargebacks in Bitcoin. This system is especially powerful for international remittances. Sending money across borders can be slow and expensive with traditional methods. Bitcoin allows anyone with an internet connection to receive value from anywhere in the world, without needing a bank account. Because of its fixed supply, some view it as a long-term savings technology, a way to opt out of the inflation of traditional currencies. It's also highly resistant to censorship and seizure. As long as you protect your private key, no one can take your Bitcoin from you. For some, this is Bitcoin's most profound implication, the potential to separate money from the state, just as we separated church and state. But the technology remains complex. Using Bitcoin correctly and safely still requires a level of technical knowledge that is a barrier for many. Though the user experience is improving, making self-custody easy and safe for billions of people is still one of its greatest challenges. Governments around the world are also struggling to understand and regulate Bitcoin. The legal landscape is uncertain and constantly changing. It's also an open source project. Anyone can contribute to the code or suggest improvements, but changes are only adopted if the vast majority of users running nodes agree to them. This creates a robust system of checks and balances. So, is Bitcoin better money? That depends on what you need money for. For daily purchases, its volatility and speed are drawbacks. But for long-term savings or censorship-resistant transfers, its properties are revolutionary. Bitcoin was not the first attempt at digital money, but it was the first to elegantly solve the double spending problem without a central authority. It was a breakthrough built on decades of research in cryptography and distributed systems. The first block ever mined, the Genesis block, contained a message. A headline from a newspaper about the UK government bailing out banks. A permanent, unchangeable critique of the existing system, embedded in the very foundation of this new one. Bitcoin is a quiet revolution. It doesn't seek to overthrow anything by force. It simply offers an alternative, an open, voluntary system that anyone, anywhere is free to join. It presents us with a clear trade-off, the convenience of a trusted system versus the sovereignty of a trustless one. Its ultimate success will depend on how many people find this trade-off worthwhile. It might not replace the traditional system, but it could become a vital part of a more diverse and resilient global financial order. The evolution of money has been a long journey, from physical objects to abstract promises, and now to pure information secured by math. Bitcoin is the first chapter in this new phase of money's story. It is not an answer, but a profound and fascinating question about our digital future. The world of finance and technology is always evolving. What complex system should we explore next? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this journey into the heart of Bitcoin, subscribe to Capybrain to keep exploring the biggest questions in science and technology with us. Thanks for watching. Out.